Okay, everyone. Welcome to Fat Mascara, the best of.
The best of on a Monday. Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Sullivan.
I'm Jessica Matlin. Okay. You know how this works. We're running down the best of Fat Mascara, so you don't have to. So we're talking to today Drunk Elephant's founder, Tiffany Masterson. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Since this aired in June 2019, so what is that? 4 years ago? Oh my gosh. It has become, I don't have like the exact numbers because we have many platforms and it's hard to figure it all, but like this is like one of our top episodes. Like I'll just log in every now and then and I'll be like, why is everybody listening to it this week? Why is everybody listening to it again this week? And now we have it here siloed out for you without any other clutter, just Tiffany all by herself. She is the founder and chief creative officer of Drunk Elephant LLC. Maybe you've heard of it. So interesting is that I remember Jess and I reported on when Shiseido acquired Drunk Elephant for a cool $845 million. That was just months after we had spoken to Tiffany. So in this interview, you'll hear she alludes to, or we allude to, the rumored sale of her company. And just know that behind the scenes, this was absolutely going on at this time because at the end of the summer, she announced that big news. So congrats to her on that.
I also like that she talks about what clean means. And this was, at this point, people were really starting to get obsessed with the word clean. This was like the height of the clean skincare craze. And I really think this was also before a little bit of like the clean, the skincare. I don't want to say before people started kind of digging into it. It was when people were just blindly obsessed with the word clean. But she actually unpacks what that means. And she had some very surprising, I think quite like took a more analytical approach to the word clean than I think some people would expect. And then she also talked about, kind of on the same tip, how she manages social media controversies and how people kind of come at the brand. I mean, when you're really big, people are going to take some swings at you.
Well, that's still more relevant than ever. Sometimes I feel like it's like the Fight Club with beauty brands, like this founder versus that founder and this ingredient versus that ingredient.
But her brand, like, to your point, she was like the first really big, very public, like clean brand.
Yeah, she put a stake in the ground.
Yeah, and that's where people started getting a little bit like, but you're not this, but wait a second, you said, like where people started to get very ingredient obsessed and a bit know-it-all-ish and really started to educate themselves a lot about skincare and do it all online. So it's a really interesting point, not just for her brand, but also for the beauty business. So very exciting interview.
Yeah, I love doing these best of. It's like revisiting. You forget when the trends occurred and came and gone, and we've been tracking the culture for 7 years. So it's like, I love this little time capsule. I love that we're doing this. All right, enough of us. Well, you'll hear us again when we talk to Tiffany, but let's get into the interview.
Welcome, Tiffany.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
You also have a reputation as like the nicest person in beauty. All the research I was doing on you beforehand was like, she's so great. She exudes warm vibes.
That's really sweet.
I'm getting all the warm vibes.
Thank you.
Well, I know you've had a crazy busy week, so I have to thank you for coming in. We're going to talk about why you're so busy. But first, let's back up a bit. How did you become the skincare guru?
Oh, I wouldn't call myself a guru.
She's humble too.
I wouldn't describe myself as a guru, but I'm curious.
An authority, a figure,
I'm curious. I'm like a private investigator by heart. I want to figure things out. Like I love riddles. I'm a consumer. And I got interested in ingredients and skincare. I was selling this little bar cleanser on the side when my kids were babies. And
from Malaysia, right?
It was from Malaysia, and it was just this. It was kind of this bar, and it had these weird directions. Anyway, I at the end of the day, it was like the bar was fine. It was very basic, but I wanted to be like accessible. I wanted to help people was the main thing.
Wait, why did you? I don't understand this bar thing. You grabbed a bar from like another brand and you sold it, or you?
No, well, no. It was a bar that was being imported from Malaysia by my brother-in-law and my brother and his wife, and they just wanted to sell it in the United States. They just wanted to
like a cleansing.
Yeah. They wanted to import it and sell it. And so I started helping, selling it. And I think it just awakened something in me, a passion about ingredients and learning. And I like to, once I get interested in something, I kind of go crazy and I try to read all about it. And I was selling the bar and people would call me and say, gosh, I'm breaking out, or I'm not breaking out. It's helping. It's not. I'm using this. What do you think? And it just kind of, I had skin issues myself. And I was sort of a brand hopper going around I tried everything out there. And I felt like one thing would make a product would make one thing better and then something else would get worse. So I couldn't really find anything that worked. But through my study of ingredients and my interest, and I started reading more and more, and that led to kind of reading ingredient decks and trying to decipher what the ingredients were there for. What could it be that was causing a breakout in someone or me, myself, because I was trying different products also at the time. And it just was over like a 2-year period. And I really just was reading and curious and taught myself about ingredients. I started eliminating things from my skincare routine. I remember I eliminated essential oils. I remember eliminating chemical screens. Silicones came way later. Drying alcohols, I think I eliminated not on purpose, but just toners and things like that made my skin feel tight and dry. Clay masks I eliminated. There's just various things I eliminated trying to find like what worked for me.
What was of your skin issue? What were your
I had
your key
mild
skin issues?
rosacea. I had large pores. I remember always trying to figure out how to deal with that. It's oily T-zone, acne prone. Kind of just sensitive, sort of irritable skin. And it would turn red and, just not great. Like I was not fully happy with it. But when I started eliminating things and trying to, I was, like I said, selling this bar. So the directions on the bar were don't use anything else, just this bar. It's kind of weird direction. So that kind of forced me into like not using anything. And I was using like a pure oil with the bar. But I didn't know why my skin was acting so well. Anyway, so it was through these studies and researching and just...
It's almost like a food elimination diet, but for skin.
Well, that's what I call it today, is like the Whole30 for your face.
Right.
But the bar wasn't marketed that way. It was just through my curiosity of ingredients that I kind of, over the period of 2 years, sort of started helping people I was selling the bar to kind of say, try eliminating this, don't use that, don't use this.
Does this bar exist anymore?
Yeah, it does. And it's just a basic bar that they sell. It's a very basic formula, actually. That it was a bar that was marketed under different names. It was a multi-level marketing thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it was just a very basic bar.
What'd you guys call it in Texas? What was your name for it?
It was called the Wonder Bar.
She's good at naming stuff. You are.
I didn't name it.
Oh, you did it?
No, it wasn't. We didn't own it.
Okay.
It came from. It was a bar base that's a very common bar base, actually. That was named and repackaged through different distributors around the world. And they, of course, didn't tell us that. We didn't know that. So that's something we found out later. But it was just a fun thing for me. And it was a kind of a vehicle for me to learn and teach myself about ingredients. And I'm grateful it came into my life because I don't think I ever would have realized the passion for marketing and ingredients that I've ended up having.
Which parlayed into Drunk Elephant. So let's talk about that. First, I realized this because I would ask people about the brand and they'd always be like, they just call it Drunk Elephant and not even think about what that means. It's just like it sounds fun. Can you tell for people who don't know, why is it called Drunk Elephant?
So when I decided to do my own line, I was, I had an idea of which kind of products I wanted in the line. I wanted to launch with several products to give a whole routine. And when I was in California one time, I was just in an apothecary kind of looking at ingredients and stuff or products. And I found a marula oil. And it actually had essential oils in it. And but I could tell I had wanted to use apricot oil in the line because it was bioavailable. It was easily absorbed into the skin. It was at the time I was calling it skin identical, but I wanted an oil like that. I found the marula and I tried it on my hand. I loved it immediately. I went home and Googled it and I figured out found this video of elephants and other animals in Africa eating marula fruit off the ground and acting tipsy, stumbling around. And I really I was so serious about studying ingredients and learning and creating these formulations that it was kind of like, wow, can I call it Drunk Elephant?
Because so it like starts to ferment on the ground, and it's like alcoholic basically for the elephants, right?
Right, and it's a myth. It's not really true, but could I call it that? I kind of polled my friends and family, and half of them said no way, but it's really cute, and the other half said absolutely, and it's really cute. And so I just thought, so there wasn't really a negative response to it, except for my mom and my grandmother didn't like it. But I just thought, it's me, and so I might as well go with it's reflective of my personality. Kind of, I make fun of myself.
It's like lighthearted.
But I'm serious, and I work hard, and it's kind of representative of my personality.
So Drunk Elephant, if you're a listener of this podcast, I'm sure you've heard of the brand before. And that's just kind of a testament to how big your brand became. How did it blow up so quickly?
I think word of mouth really was the main driver in our growth.
Do you mean word of mouth like me telling Jen after work one day? Or do you mean like social media? Or both?
Social media for sure had a part in it. Sephora had a huge part in it. I mean, but I think that, just because when I launched the brand, when I had the philosophy, when I got the idea, like, wow, there's one day where it kind of hit me like, oh my gosh, eliminating these ingredients, like these specific ingredients from the routine, from the products, that's, could maybe change people's skin and experience with skincare and the whole thing. I think it's at the root cause of many issues that we deal with. And I really was so convicted in my philosophy. All I wanted to do was sit down with my girlfriends and tell them about this philosophy.
You call them the suspicious six, right?
I do.
You mentioned maybe 4 of them. What are they all that you eliminate and
So
don't
drying
use?
alcohol, SLS, fragrance and dyes is just one category. Essential oils, chemical screens, and silicones.
When you say chemical screens, you mean a sunscreen?
Sunscreen, so my intent is not to say these are terrible ingredients, and it's not to vilify them at all. It is really like from a consumer, like or just like your friend saying, you know what, I eliminated these 6 ingredients, and why don't you try it if you're dealing with something, like if you're breaking out or if you've got, eczema or whatever, try eliminating these things. Not to say it cures it, but I have a hunch that it could help. Like maybe just try it. Like it's this troubleshooter more than anything. And I think it's been portrayed as this, I vilify these ingredients and because they're toxic. It has nothing to do with being toxic at all, or it doesn't even have anything to do with being clean. It has to do with, I suspect that, and actually there are studies that say and show that some of these things that I believe are true, but that's not how I came to believe that it's true. It was like by elimination of using these ingredients and using products that contain them. And there are other ingredients I think are out there I wouldn't use, but these ones seem to be the main ones
for the most number of people,
kind of in everything. And they're and I made the brand because I couldn't really find a brand that didn't contain them.
At least one of them, right?
At least one of them.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you said like you don't vilify those 6 ingredients, and that you just mentioned the word clean, but like you're not claiming to be like super clean in the way that, we just debated this a couple weeks ago on the podcast, but like what does clean actually mean? I can't sit on the mic and actually tell you and feel good. I'm not quite sure.
Right.
I don't think anyone can, right?
Well, because there's so many definitions out there now of clean. We're
and just
clean.
Perceptions too.
If you're talking about ingredients that are linked to like internal disruption or disease, if that's the definition of clean, which it seems to be, then we're clean. But we're also one step further than that. In my mind, clean's not quite enough when you're taking care of your skin. And I say that often because what I'm talking about with the Suspicious 6 is biocompatible or compatible with the health of your skin or the function of your skin. And so that is so important. And so I would call it, we only use biocompatible ingredients that the skin can recognize, absorb, use, benefit from. And so I would say biocompatible is a more important word with Drunk Elephant.
Are biocompatible ingredients natural?
No.
Yeah, you're cool with synthetics if they're good for the skin, right?
Totally. We use ingredients.
It's a unique philosophy, I think, right now.
Well, I do wonder if, and I mean this with like absolutely no disrespect, but the way this is the good part, the way you have positioned this is so brilliant and it's so easy to understand. But there are a lot of other brands that, they throw in some clean things and then they throw in some synthetics, but they haven't articulated their story the way you have. And that I think is so brilliant.
Well, it's because it's based on a personal experience that I actually had. And so it's kind of like, it's a hopeful message. It's it's an honest sort of, it came from a very authentic place. I hate to use that word because everyone's using it, but it just really came from a personal experience that I had.
Yeah.
I think my personality is to want to help people. And so it's like this, hey, if you're having issues, try what I tried because I'm so excited that it worked. I want it to work for everyone else too. And so it's not about other brands. It's just about ingredients and being like, hey, you know, maybe this could work for you. And so
And you've adopted like a philosophy of transparency too, it seems. Like you're letting us all in on how this all came about. Is that still true to this day?
I think I'm just that, I mean, I think I'm a pretty open person.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, people want to shut me up all the time because I probably
Who wants
say
to
too
shut
much.
you up?
You know, my team probably wants to shut me up half the time because I tell everything. But no, truthfully, like I am a consumer. I wanted to have a brand that for a consumer. Like I made this brand based on what I would want as a consumer.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was like hinting at before. I think your personal story is what really sets your brand apart a lot. And do you feel, was that very intentional for you to really be a part of the brand? Like, is the brand Tiffany, or are you kind of apart from that?
No, the brand is probably Tiffany, because every decision that I make is about me, and it's not an egotistical thing at all. It's look, I'm just going to stick with one gut, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that will benefit from or feel like me or have the same desires and needs and wants as me in a skincare line. So my thing was, I'm not going to please everybody at all, but I'm going to please the people that want the same thing that I do. And I think that I can direct the brand and develop the brand best when I'm just working from one place.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to please everybody, let's just go with my gut and that's, you know.
And
so.
do you keep in touch with folks online? Like, you know, you said you're very much about the customer. So, you know, you're here for a week, you did a pop-up, you're meeting with people all the time. You know, are on Instagram. Like, where are you getting most of your information?
You mean like
your consumer feedback?
Oh, all on Instagram, on email.
Do you reply by yourself?
I reply to them a lot by myself.
Wow. I never know if it's the PR or
it's never the PR. Never.
You said that. You said, well, it's Tiffany, it's me, but there's downsides to that in the
I have help.
the day
I have
and age.
people on there helping me, and there's huge downsides to it because, you know, on the one hand, people say they want to be, they want to have access to the founder and the brand,
right,
and they want you to answer the questions, like be accountable and be right there, accessible. And on the other hand, if you are, you do get attacked, and you do have people come on and really just abuse you.
Yeah, and you've had issues too. You have other people who work on your social accounts. You can't always keep control over what's going on.
No, I've had a bad experience with that, but you know, the truth is that these things happen.
Yeah, and the bigger you get, I'm sure.
They happen. And you know what? All you got to do is you just need to go on past it and get and do your thing, do what's right. I mean, we're going to make mistakes, and I'm the founder of the brand, so it falls on me.
Yeah.
When something like that happens. So I'm accountable. It's my fault, you know, but what are you going to do?
So give us some advice, because as we grow on social media too.
Gosh.
No, I want to take this advice.
No.
What do you do with like the Redditors who like go into threads and they find the person's name that matches the other name and they're bashing other brands? Or what do you do when another brand comes at you? Or even just a user who's unhappy? Do you block comments?
Or
do you
just like a
engage
straight
them?
hater, you
Like,
know?
what's your
Well,
fault?
I've had all of that
I
happen.
know, and that's what I'm asking
Every
you.
bit of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, you know, because I'm sensitive and I'm human. And,
Yeah, how do you
And
handle it?
I do want just to do the best thing for the consumer, and I'm trying to, you know, but you make mistakes. But what do you do? I've done probably everything that you could do. Like I've done stupid
Engaging
things.
versus
I've
not.
done.
But like, do you decide to be like, you know what, I can't please everyone and I don't engage? Or do you try and convince people when you know you're right?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think I've gone through phases where, like, there was. I think early on, I would try to acknowledge it and explain it as best I could in an honest way. But that doesn't work, because what happens is what you find out is a lot of the people who are making the noise aren't sincere, and they don't really want an answer.
They just want to
they don't want an answer, and their motivation is not sincere. And so
what is their motivation?
So let's say somebody comes on the Instagram feed and says, hey, I've tried, your brand and using only your brand, and, I'm breaking out like crazy. What am I supposed to do? And it's a very and I answer them honestly. They're coming onto my Instagram feed. I'm giving them my feedback honestly. This is what I think will work, kind of thing. And then they come back and they kind of attack you. And it comes to light pretty quickly if the person's, because you either want to get help, you want to get the money's worth out of the product, you want an answer, or you're there to try to make. And I heard this from Leandra Medine recently. She said it, and she said it in a perfect way. They're there to make you smaller, make you look bad, or they're there to genuinely and sincerely get help, and they're there for the right reasons. Typically, these people that come on, you'll find that are trolls and that that are there just to spread hate and be mean-spirited. They don't follow you. And it's interesting because I have a very loving, kind community. I have a wonderful community. They stick up for each other. They help answer questions. They're there. I don't mean for them to attack anybody. They're not like that. They try to explain. They answer questions because they use the product and they're there. But these people typically aren't followers. About the Redditors and about the other Instagram pages that are their reason for being is to quote, expose or they're the watchdog, whatever. I think they're bullies. I think that's a bully culture in a way. I think it's unfortunate, but again, what are you going to do about it? And all I really care about are the people that are interested in trying and understanding Drunk Elephant, and the people that I'm actually helping and can continue to help. I can't worry about the other people who aren't really they don't really like the brand anyway.
Are you getting better at depersonalizing it?
Way better. And I was
what was the first time that you got something bad? Do you remember, or like a moment?
That something bad happened?
Yeah, you don't need to tell us what it is if it's too egregious.
I think the first time that something really bad happened, I was so shocked, was when there was a comment from my brand on another brand's
right. Oh,
feed.
yes, I remember.
It was awful, and I was devastated. And it was just terrible. But with everything like that happens, you learn. You learn. Unfortunately, you learn to be more guarded. You learn not to trust as much. You learn that things you can't always. Things aren't going to always be the way you want them to be. So you have to fix them and move on and just make sure
I'm going to call Tiffany a couple times in my life in the future. I feel like, Tiffany, say that again to me.
Yeah, how do you dust yourself off from like a social media?
You have to. And I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. Even if it's a bad thing, good thing.
May come of it.
Everything happens for a reason.
Summer's just around the corner, so give your body the care it deserves with Osea's best-selling Undaria Algae Body Oil. Created by infusing Undaria seaweed in barrels of botanical oils, it leaves skin silky, soft, and glowing. Plus, it's clinically proven to improve elasticity and deeply moisturize without feeling greasy. It's safe, clean, vegan skincare. Get 10% off your first order at OseaMalibu.com with code GLOW, plus free shipping on orders over $60.
Hey everyone, this podcast is brought to you by Cash App. With tools for saving, sending, and spending, it's the all-in-one place for you to glow up your money and glow up your life.
I glow up my money with Cash App, but I also had a personal glow up. I don't know if you remember this. It was about, I would say 10 years ago now. I was just another brunette in New York doing my thing. And I said, it's time to let my white hair streak grow in. I thought it would give me a little differentiation, make me stand out from the crowd. So I grew in my white hair and it was as glowy, right? Like, come on, you thought it was a glow up for me, right?
Yeah, I mean, you went from like being like just another brunette on the street, nameless and faceless,
to like a superhero.
Jen!
No, I'm telling you, I walk down the street now, all the time people yell to me like, what's up, Rogue? Like from the, X-Men, what's up, Storm? I feel like much more myself. I feel like I have a little bit of a superhero power. Yeah. And that is like kind of what Cash App does for your money.
So if you want to glow up your life, you got to glow up your money. Download Cash App in the App Store or Google Play. There's no hidden fees and a free-to-order debit card. It feels like a makeover for your finances.
Okay, shifting gears a little bit. We, Jen and I are out in the market all the time. We see a million brands. We're seeing a lot of brands that seem to be inspired by Drunk Elephant.
Packaging-wise. Usually packaging-wise, actually.
The packaging, we're seeing a lot of color, a lot of neon. And I think even a little bit of the attitude, like the
cheekiness.
Yeah, cheeky, but like clean-ish, ... What do you think? Have you seen them?
I've seen them. People send them to me all day long, every day. On text.
Why do they
my community sends them to me?
Okay, your community.
I think that for me, like that's the last thing I do is look around. I really try to pull inspiration from totally different industries. I live in Houston. I mean, I'm kind of there, and I'm not really looking like to copy other brands. But I think it's unusual when you have a brand and you've got the opportunity to launch a brand that you would take ideas from another brand, because to me it seems so obvious that it takes away right off the bat. It's like you're not being who you are, and it's like trying to copy someone's outfit. I try to do it, a gazillion times in high school. There's this girl that always had the perfect outfit.
What was her name?
Lisa. Her name's Lisa.
What was the outfit like?
She's the coolest chick ever, and she just always had the perfect jewelry, the perfect shoes, the perfect everything. And I would go home and I would tell my mom, and I you know what? I never looked like Lisa. And I just feel like as a brand, if you
you're Lisa now. Drunk Elephant is the Lisa of skincare.
It's just it doesn't work, I don't think, but it's flattering.
Yeah.
You know what else is flattering? All this buzz about like what your company's worth and when are you going to sell it. We meet a lot of founders who truly say to us honestly, oh yeah, I just started this company so I can sell it. And I get the feeling that's probably not why you started Drunk Elephant.
No, and I don't like it. That's not also the thing. Like I just want to sell it. And that makes me like a little sad.
Why haven't you? And what would it take to be like, okay, this is worth me selling to a larger company?
Well, because there are things that you want to do, you want to accomplish, and you want to make happen, and it's not always as easy when you're not with a strategic that has done all that before. Some things, not everything. We do a lot of things our way. I would not sell to anybody ever if I couldn't continue to be myself. I couldn't, continue to have my team that I love. I've had 2 people quit my company in 5 years, and 1 came back.
And how many people work for you now?
100.
Wow.
What's so great about working at Drunk Elephant? Like, tell me, like, what are you guys doing?
I just think it's a really fun culture, and I think it's a very flat culture environment. It's
like hierarchy-wise, you mean?
Well, it's not really, but we have. Yeah. But I think we have a fun group of people. I hire people with shared values. I try.
Yeah.
And we have a very strict sort of like, look, let's not talk about other brands. Let's not order products from other brands to, copy packaging or what have, what I'm saying? Like, let's not, because I think, and let's just have a kind culture. Let's have each other's backs. This is not a competitive thing.
That's a very like a great average, or only 2 people in the past 5 years.
Well, it is a happy culture. Honestly, it's not a competitive thing. So like in the sales arena, the sales department of Drunk Elephant, the field team, it's not she sold more than you sold. It's not any of that. It's everyone's pretty happy for each other. We have the same purpose, is to help people. We don't go out and try to bash or trash. It's not.
So you would never want to be part of a larger corporation if you had to abandon those values. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right. And I think sure there are people out there that have the same values. I mean, it's it's just a matter of finding the right partner.
We can't buy you for the right number, like $1 billion, and then see where Tiffany stands. You're doing okay.
That would be fun.
Well, Mascara is not in the market to buy a brand right now.
I'm curious, as a manager, somebody who's kept people like so happy, and it's reviews time at Harper's Bazaar, so I've got a lot of questions right now.
We have reviews of Mary Claire right now, too.
What are some questions that you ask people to, or like to kind of suss out if they have the right values?
Ooh.
Like, how can you tell?
I think you can tell on the phone. Like
On the
having
phone?
a 30-minute conversation with someone, I think you can tell. Like I don't like cocky. I don't like anything like that. You can tell braggy, kind of cocky, competitive. Like I know like I've interviewed people who are like, they've interviewed with brands that are like, we're number one. If you know, if you're relentless and you're cutthroat and you're, just that attitude that's a sales, like a kind of, I don't know, just that's just not our attitude. It's not like go sell the product. It's like share the philosophy with people, and if they don't buy something, that's fine. Like just share the philosophy, get the information, get the philosophy in the people's head, and then if they want to try it, let's let them try it.
What percentage of your company is male versus female? I'm wondering.
I don't even know. That's a great
Would
question.
you say there are more women?
Much more women. Many
Really?
more women, yeah. Many more women. Yeah, we have all, it's got a great group of people.
So you were in town for a number of things, but the big event was the pop-up. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes. So we had a pop-up in the UK when we launched there, and we had a pop-up in Singapore when we launched there. And it was very well received, really, really fun. It was just a chance for my creative team to kind of bring the brand to life. And it really feels like you're stepping into, like, it's crazy. It's
drunk world.
It's tactile, and there's lots of incredible digital stuff going on. And it's also educational, which we always try to do, and with the goal of spreading the philosophy again. So people can kind of grasp that, but in a fun way.
Oh my God, your magnifying glasses, that was the hottest ticket at the beauty closet, Mary Claire. Like everybody wanted that. Speaking of education, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah. So
they were, for people who don't know, they were little magnifying glasses so you could look at the ingredient list of other brands.
Yeah, exactly. Of all brands,
Genius.
I thought it would be a cute thing on the shelfie, but lots of neon acrylic, lots of it's fun. It's really just a fun place to be.
Why did you make neon acrylic like part of your brand DNA?
I just love it.
It's very decisive.
Yeah, I just love it. We were talking, my designer and I were talking early on when we were trying to do our first end cap at, actually, no, it came way before that. We made these clear acrylic neon boxes in 2013 before we were in Sephora, before we had a publicist, anything. And we sent them out to 30. Again, like private investigator, I figured out the top 30 beauty directors and figured out their email addresses and, got their addresses and sent these boxes to 30 people. And they were well received. Like I actually got emails back, and there were people. I was so excited. It was such a fun time. But we used clear neon acrylic boxes then. I think it's just something I'm attracted to. Bright pops of color, clean. Yeah.
Oh, and pop-ups. So I know we're telling everyone about these fabulous pop-ups. You had one in New York. Are you going to be doing more pop-ups throughout the city, throughout the country, rather?
I think I will. I don't think it's a huge thing for us. It's kind of when it makes sense. We'll probably do one in Los Angeles at some point.
Brands
I've
are doing
got some
pop-ups
stuff going
like
on
crazy.
there, so that so we'll probably do that in the fall or maybe even next spring. But the consumer loves it. It's actually our way of saying thank you and for your support, and come get to know us a little bit better. And it's both. It's we have great fans. So
Tiffany, let's get personal. Are you ready? She got all nervous on the way in because I asked her for some extrovert. It's not that personal.
I'm just kidding.
I asked you if you were an extrovert or introvert. And
I'm
you
an
said
introvert.
But that's not how personal. I want to know. I read somewhere that you don't wear makeup, or you don't really like to wear makeup. Is this true?
I don't like to wear makeup.
Do you mean face makeup or?
No, I don't wear any face makeup. I wear eye makeup.
Okay.
But you would never put a foundation on.
Never.
Why?
I just don't like it. I just don't like the way my skin feels. I don't like the way I look. I just never wore it. I wasn't really. My mom didn't wear it. I just didn't wear it.
You don't have concealer on right now? Girl, your skin looks good. I'm drunk. Okay, so but you wear eye makeup, right? You wear eye makeup?
I wear eye makeup.
Okay,
yes.
so tell us, what are some of your favorite eye makeups, like mascara, liner?
I have Too Faced mascara.
Oh, okay. Better than Sex?
I do, yeah.
It's a
I do.
classic.
Yeah, your lashes are good.
I do. And I actually have an old eyeshadow kit that my mom didn't want anymore. That's the truth. And I've had it for 2 years, and I just do that. I'm not
You don't remember the brand?
a great.
It's
black with a white writing on top. I don't know the brand.
It's Chanel. No, I'm just kidding.
It may be. It may be Chanel. Eyebrow stuff, I use Anastasia.
You've gotten to meet a lot of other founders. I always see you at industry events, and you get to know these people. Do you ever pick up some of their products, like Anastasia?
So the founders all send each other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I
So
that's
cool.
Anastasia, I really, really like. She, I met her when I was first launching at Sephora, just in her chair. She was doing my eyebrows. I was there in California, and my hairdresser recommended that I went to go see her. So I went and I told her I'd gotten in Sephora, and she gave me some tips. And she's always been really, really sweet and has gone out of her way to come over and hug me and give me advice. And she's been really nice. So yeah, but yes, the founders and the Too Faced guys send me stuff, and it's nice when there are other founders who are supportive and kind of show you the ropes, and they've been there ahead of you, and so
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about your favorites from your line. I know it started out really streamlined, but now there's more SKUs. What do you personally use?
I personally, I wake up and I use a pump of C Firma, a pump of D-Bronzy.
So you don't wash your face?
No.
Okay.
And I think that's key. So my whole thing is about the acid mantle, all about acid mantle, protecting it, supporting it, respecting it. And I think that if you strip it or disrupt it, that there's no chance to have, I mean, it's like chaos.
That's when problems start.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's the source of all problems outside of ingredients. It's just, so that's part of the reason we avoid the Suspicious Six. A lot of those ingredients are problematic for the acid mantle. But not cleansing in the morning, not using a toner, not trying to take off what's there, because it's the best stuff we have between us and our face in the world is the line of defense. So
I see what you mean.
I don't wash my face in the morning. I use a pump of C Firma, a pump of D-Bronzy, a little bit of retinol, a Passione, a pump
Doesn't that disrupt like your pH balance or acid mantle of your skin? Retinol? No.
No.
Okay.
Not
Sorry.
at all.
I truly don't know.
In fact, if the acid mantle, your acid mantle holds your pH.
Okay.
It's so important. Like it's like a built-in toner.
But the things that mess with it are like soaps and things that lower pH and surfactants and and retinol does not count as one of those.
No.
Got it.
No, retinol's it doesn't. It's good. But so the retinol, B-Hydra, D-Bronzy, C Firma, and Lala.
Which one's Lala?
The pump, the purple. Yeah.
The purple. Isn't that how people talk about your brand?
Yeah.
I feel like
They
the
do.
yellow one.
That
The
was
yellow
smart.
one.
It's so
That
true.
was very
They
smart.
talk about the colors. And that wasn't on purpose at all. That was just me being
convenient,
me, wanting something cute on my cabinet. But I pump it all in my hand, mix it up. Everything's a smoothie for me, and I put
you
it on
mix
my
it all
face.
together, and
I mix everything together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I put my sunscreen on top of that, and that's it.
Good to go.
Yeah, and
That's
then at
it.
night I do this same kind of thing. I wash my face.
Do you use the
at
sleigh? Because I
night.
love the sleigh.
I do use the sleigh. I love the sleigh. I
Can you
use
tell
the
people what the
bars
sleigh
on my
is? Because not everyone knows what the
Sleigh
sleigh
is a new oil balm cleanser that took me 2 years to formulate. And I actually read recently that brands say that they formulate.
I read that article too.
Yes, and I was like,
Wait, say with the article.
I think it was Business of Fashion. It was
Yes.
basically like it's a marketing claim these days to be like, it took us 3 years to
Yeah.
formulate this.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
saying that's BS.
I'm here to tell you that it can take you 2 weeks and it can take you 2 years. It just depends on if you nail it or not. It's and
But sleigh was a hard
then
one.
you got to go through all the testing and all that. Sleigh was so hard. I mean, I was tweaking Sleigh to the 11th hour. So, but that did take 2 years to make, and so when we got done, I love the product, so I used that, and then Marula, Protini, TLC, and B-Hydra.
And you all mash it up again.
And I mix up my hands up, put it on at night, and go to bed.
The
And
One
smoothie.
and done.
then
Yeah.
I use the eye creams.
I love that.
I use baby facial once a week, and that's it.
Baby facial's really good.
And lippy, yeah.
That's all. Just a couple.
That's all. And that sounds like a lot, but it takes like 5 seconds.
No,
No, I
I
like
like
your
the smoothie thing too. Just
practicality.
mush it up
Yeah.
and mash
Yeah.
it on.
Yeah.
She's got 4 kids. She's a busy woman, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
This was very informative. I love your philosophy and how you're being transparent about why you've done what you've done.
Yeah, it's very.
Thank you.
I feel like your philosophy is very. It's very nuanced, and I love that.
Thanks.
Hopefully people are getting it and they got a good
Yeah.
taste of it. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks,
Thank
Tiffany.
you so much for having me.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Razor One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.